Yes, that is what's happening. That is what I felt. Or just the jealousy. I don't know.
All right. That's what I have to do. Oh. Can we judge them for that? Yeah.
Oh, just we switched on me.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
No, yes, we did change it to Mrs. Jim.
Mrs. Jen. Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there judges? Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm going to begin by delivering a message from administration for you all here today. Good afternoon, Riverside. Congratulations to all the spoken word finalists today. It is exciting for our students to be present in front of their peers. COVID protocols are being followed as we are only allowing 50% of the room capacity in the audience. Spoken word poems frequently refer to issues of social justice, politics, race, and community. The words or topics you hear this afternoon may cause you discomfort or wonder. They should promote deeper thinking, questioning, and conversation to seek understanding. That said, if you feel you need to speak to someone, the counselors are available to discuss your concerns. And I think there are teachers everywhere here too. And all right. Hello, everybody. This is my own voice now. I am your MC for today, though except for this first part, I'm going to be your M-not-C because you're going to be seeing these amazing people on the stage today. So, how are you all feeling from lunch? How are all of you feeling in your bodies? A little bit excited, a little bit nervous, a little bit of both. I think both is good. It means that all of you here care to perform and share your work in front of this lovely audience. And all of you here care enough to listen and support your peers. I've got a little surprise to help you with the nerves. But first, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Isabella. I am a poet, I think, a writer, editor in Vancouver's literary community. I am also a student studying at Simon Fraser University, though mostly I just dog sit for my professor's dogs. And I graduated from high school 3 years ago. It is such an honor and privilege to be here because all of you are inspiring to me. And this generation, the generations of our elders, our ancestors, and future generations all need your voice. And it's not just me telling you this today. Before coming here today, I reached out to some of my friends, the greatest writers, poets, and mentors across Canada's literary scene. And I asked them if they got any words for our performing poets today. And so here is what they sent for all of you. From Kirsten Paulson Nguyen, writer for the New York Times and Boston Globe. She says, "The world needs your voices, ! I applaud your courage in using them." From R.C. Wislowski, a poet who has been a pillar of the poetry slam community before we were all born, maybe not our teachers. He quotes a classic slam axiom from Alan Wolfe. "The points are not the point is the poetry." From Barbara Pellman in Victoria, a poet, she says, "Connect with the poetry community, learn from others, but have trust in yourselves too, and have fun." From Marianne Agnew, "You're important. You are the artists who give, you are the artists who give us, older than you, the geysers of energy and hope." Dina Balbukia says, "We all can't wait to read, hear what you have to say." From Lydia Kwa, she offers the advice, "The talented writers who are more likely to succeed are the ones who persevere." And lastly, English and creative writing professor, author of 11 books of mainly poetry, and also my mentor, Stephen Collis, writes, asked me to give on to you. "Writing is a long road to walk. Find friends who write. Don't be afraid to take risks and make mistakes. Just be true to what moves you." I would also like to humbly acknowledge the traditional territories where we stand. Today, we honor the ancestors, our kindred relations, and Indigenous student leaders who have nurtured this land and this place long before we are gathered here today. And they continue to bestow their greatest knowledge and wisdoms onto their unsurrendered land. As an Anishinaabe Indigenous elder shares in the gift of his words, "This is the land where we all work and live. This is an Indigenous definition of sovereignty. The land where we learn, grow, love, feel, and occasionally cry. For everyone here, we carry our individual relationship and responsibilities to place, our stories of collective movement and migration, of settlement and unsettled realities. Acknowledging the land is an everyday and lifelong process, for the soil on which we stand is a sentient life force that at all times teaches us, mentors us, collects, and supports us. And so I would like to encourage everyone here to reflect, educate themselves, listen and learn from the rightful owners of this land for time and millennia, and give back the gift of reciprocity. Let us acknowledge with gratitude this beautiful place where we live, work, and play, that is the Coast Salish Nations. I am going to share with you the rules of the slam. There are no props allowed. Instead of clapping while a poet is trying to speak, let's all snap our fingers. We snap in appreciation of the words and the ideas and not to interrupt the poet. That's good. Let's practice. Do that again. Awesome. At the end of the poem, we clap loudly and enthusiastically. We reward the poet, not the scores. Let us warmly acknowledge and thank our wonderful round of judges, Sue Kilpatrick, Rochelle David, Georgina Hudson, woo! And Mrs. June. Thank you for being here. All right, so they're going to score the poem between 1 to 5 based on the words, the meaning, and the presentation. If you disagree, you can yell higher. And who knows, you may convince the judges to raise their scores. It's a student-led democracy here. These poets also deserve respect. There are no phones or talking while they're performing, so please silence any phones you've got, and only go to the bathroom in between the poems. And without much further ado, I am going to go first and present myself as the sacrificial poet here, and I'm going to share a poem of my own. And this poem is for you guys. I think it encapsulates the snowy days that's coming ahead for all of us. Also the sadness and loss weaved with the fabric of these past pandemic years. And also the light that is all of you, envisioning and performing all the good changes that our world imminently needs. This poem is called Allergy in Winter. And I do not have it memorized, so they're already going to be better than me. Allergy for winter. Thawing. I want to be the announcer of good news. I want to be the boughs of maple trees, the arms of children that, like trees, elevate their limbs upon first sight of snow. I want to be the invitation that conducts inches of the sky's infinitesimal flowers to us each year, or assume the receiving end as the ground, grooming its birthmarks with ritual frost of winter's exile. I want to be an infinite pattern of snow crystals greeting a child's morning wishes, to be the granter of wishes in as many diverse branches as snow. There's an inspiring beauty to snow I'm beginning to see again. Something about earlier drafts of a poem I wrote in winter that I felt the need to transform afterward, unlearn the unlearning, unbreak what had been broken. I know there's a lot of hurting in the world right now. I know it's difficult to hear another poem about grieving. So I want to be a lot of things good. And maybe the snow does too. Maybe that's why it clings on to our mittens. Maybe it wants to feel the warm comfort of wool, be that comfort to strangers. The twine that knits itself around the negative spaces of longing and marrow, where fingers and bones are still rummaging for explanations. I had a dream where it snowed for 3 days, and the snow melted. When I woke up, I knew it might not snow again this year. It might be fruitless hanging on to old poems, trying to revive my memories of a lost winter, as if plucking out the tulip bulbs I immersed in the garden last fall would somehow make the frozen soil in my palms bloom again. A poem where the only feeling it exuded onto the reader the first time was brokenness. What if I were to say to the world, look, you're changing so fast. You're so broken, I can't follow you. Is your snow a metaphor for the thawing that began before you were ready to know? Thank you. All right, are you all ready to hear some actual poetry? All right, let me announce our first poet, Era Christie, who will be reading House Sickness. Let's give it up for Era.
I'm quite short. But I'll just put that in my pocket. Okay. Does that pick me up? Yeah? Okay. House sickness. I've been at uni now for 4 months, first year. Everyone is so proud of me, yet I can't help but think of my house. You know, that blueprint was so nice. My old bedroom had 7 walls. My current dorm room, 4, that's it. Now, yes, my bedroom was the weirdest shape, and yes, I couldn't fit anything in it, and yes, my bed was on an angle, but it was my bedroom. Or the granite countertops. My parents renovated their kitchen years ago, and the countertops were so beautiful, yet my university can't even afford to put laminate on top of cabinets. They slapped plywood on it and called it a day. Forget nuts on my salad. I have straight up wood shavings. Or the yellow walls in my laundry room. My mother had to convince my entire family to paint each and every single wall yellow. Now, at the time, I hated it. But now, when I have to walk down 13 flights of stairs, carry my laundry bag over my shoulder like I'm Santa Claus, just walk into a dungeon-like painted room, I start to miss those yellow walls. I'm so house sick. You mean homesick, right? No, I mean house sick. Clearly, you've never taken an English class. Now, after she explained how, yes, home and house are in fact synonyms and often get mixed up, I realized maybe she has a point. Maybe I don't miss the literal blueprint of my house or the wall color or my sheets, but I miss the first ever sleepover I had in 8th grade when all my friends would talk about were boys and magazines and talked about the characters in the movie we watched. Maybe I don't miss the granite countertops, but I miss the memory of when my whole family sat around the kitchen island making fun of me because the meal I had just prepared tasted so bad, and I was leaving to live on my own in a week. Now, yes, that was a month ago. Maybe I don't miss the yellow laundry room walls, but I miss the memory of when my mom told me to wash my dishes, so I inevitably put the dishes in the laundry machine. Turns out that was a stupid idea. My mom is actually quite mad at me for that. And that was a week ago. Maybe I don't miss the popcorn ceiling, but I miss the memory of when my dad and I used to joke about how we actually threw popcorn on the ceiling. Now, little does he know, I did in fact throw popcorn on the ceiling, and, well, the last time I did this was an hour ago. I'm just house sick. Maybe I'm not homesick. Maybe I'm not ready to grow up yet.
Woo! Let's give it up again for Ava. Ara. Thank you for setting the bar high, Ara. And you have encapsulated a version of that university experience that is more real than anyone experiencing university. I think my university classmates might be scared of you. That's good. All right, our next poet is Amy Triggs. Oh, sorry, scores. All right. I see a 5, I see a 5, I see a 5. Perfect score. Oh, no. Woo! Oh, 4.5. Close to perfect. Boo. All right. A little bit potential to grow. Not much. All right. Next poet, let us welcome Amy Triggs performing Headlines.
Is that good? Okay. You want to know what my favorite thing is? Positivity. I like seeking out the sunny side. I enjoy laughing and looking for the good in things. I like to be happy. Joy is underrated, but I think there is a force far greater than gravity, trying its best not to let me get there. It feels loud. It feels heavy. I have been fighting against it. I am at war with negativity. I head the line in this war. The news is the thing that brings me down the most. Daily headlines telling you how people died, how bad everything is, how we should hurry up and save the world. It feels heavy. They head the line in my opposition. Headline. The news always finds a way to highlight the negativity. Headline. Dog saves man from fire. Dog has a life-threatening illness. These stories don't improve your day, and they make you feel hopeless. The news is not the only issue. People are negative towards themselves, creating their own loud headlines. Headline, student flunks test. Student got 94%. You still got an A, man. You didn't get my 98%, which I am still very happy about. With social media, the news, these headlines, the negativity is loud, deafening. Trumpets sound as protesters march onto the streets. People scream that we've crossed the line. An orchestra plays manipulated by a man who wants to make things great again. The loud are heading the lines. Headline, is there any hope? Yes. You want to know what I use to fight these headlines? More headlines. Yes, I'm fighting fire with fire, word to word, massive corporation against me. How did I lift the weight off my back? I heard a story. The story is about an old man still enchanted with life who gives the advice not to see the world through printed headlines, but instead to see the good. Just for clarification, this is not about trying to stay ignorant. This is not about trying to regain innocence. This is about living in a world where negativity is loud and heavy and gets too much attention. The problem: the optimistic, positive people in the world are quiet. If you are happy, tell people. Make your own headlines. Head the lines in the war. Headline: cat gets saved from tree. Everyone involved is safe. Headline: student got 85% on their last test. Not perfect, but it's better than last time. Headline: positive people get loud. A call to action. Thank you.
Look at that. Amy, that is so powerful and relatable. And I love how you can take headlines from what you see in the world and transform them into a found poem. And when they are welcomed into the lines of your own poetry, those oppressive headlines and also the beautiful ones gets transformed into something that is collectively very empowering. Can we get some numbers from the judges, please? I see a 4. I see a 4 point, is that a 4.5 or? Oh, there we go, okay. I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4, and a 4.5. Woo! All right, next up, let's welcome Amira Siddiqui performing.
Testing? Yeah. Okay. When I become history, show them my life. Not the prize poem about peace or the winning game goal, but the nights with no sleep. The fever dreams of whiteout slash scrawls, the low bouts of bottomless doubt. The tries and fails and perfect pirouettes, repetition that make regrets the only constant. When I become history, I consent to the textbook detailing my spasming synapses of right brain, left, right, back pain, hunch, paper and pen, eyes glued to university applications. I'm only human when I become history. Dear textbook, do not immortalize me, demoralize me, colonize me, and my ever-changing identity into a perfect pity party. My flaws and failures are as much my story as my key contributions and mentionable milestones. When I become history, please ensure I am not printed in Texas black and white text stuffed into a single subheading as either hero, entertainer, or terrorist. And since I will not be there to aid in their decision, I hope my poems speak and my words are not lost in translation. You see, the funny thing about the human ear is it will often only hear what it wishes. When I become history, do not sell my poetry. Sure, money satiates worldly cravings, but there are no afterlife savings. I do not own the English language, but a mere sequence of letter strings strung and rung, woven into heartstrings. When I become history, I pray stressed students don't vandalize my page or falsify my wiki, maybe skip me for rupee, start spitting fun facts like A, her poetry notebook looked like it had been run over, B, math made her hate she was sober, and C, she became famous after she died. When I become history, I hope the kids at the back of the class don't raise their hands as they don't understand how the use of the word blue reveals my personification of emotional detachment. Hint, it's just a color. When I become history, I do not want to be whispered words in subtitled script under Shakespeare's heading, stay ears intact and have equal impact as Van Gogh. When I become history, show them my life. Through clear glass, uncensored and raw, and on my tombstone in timeless text draw. When we become history, so shouldn't our legacies.
Oh my gosh, Amara. All the poets in the community right now is going to be so amazed to just see what our free poets have got for them right now. And you managed to weave so beautifully with the music of your poetry, a really powerful message. And we all learn, the words in a social studies textbook. But what gets left out and who has the power to leave things out. And with you and your poetry, you've turned that into a vessel for, showing something much more powerful. Judges, are you ready? All right, let's see them. Perfect score! I know, I agree. Is there a number for 6? All right. Next up, we have Philip Mycheck performing reverse.
Shout out to my boy PB in the back, to my boy Aaron who inspired me with this topic, and to all the lads, you know who you are. Okay. Okay. So never, right? I walk through the front door. It's been a year now. Wonder what school has in store. See my boys, Mateo, Grady, and Kabir. Some of my future teachers are even near. I'm through the front gate, not even late. I go dab my boys up. I ask them, bro, what's up? But much to my dismay, the law, Mr. Bruno would then lay. He shouts, wait, hand sanitizer. Oh, foolish of me to be none the wiser. I put it on. Oh God, what is this? Slimy, smelly, cheap like liquid piss. I don't mean to diss, but this concoction deserves no French kiss. Sticky, icky, filling me with dread. Way too much pumped out, enough to sanitize a baby's head. It's driving my insanity, the pure image of vanity. And, oh, that smell, that putrid smell. What I'd expect out of the bottom depths of hell. A little vodka, I'm Polish and it makes my nose practically swell. I don't like using the word hate, but when I'm in this state, the clouds of my psyche become dark and the sun a washed out gray. I understand I must protect others, my sisters and my brothers. And our school hand sanitizer may protect from Pfizer, but I'd rather rub on my hands fresh fertilizer than use the one this fine establishment provides. No, I can count, well, rather I can't count even on 2 hands the number of times I've been asked to hold my palms out and be donated the remnants of someone's leftover dropping about goo. I go to Walmart, Safeway, Superstore, and high-quality cleaners there galore, a texture that's creamy like a cloud, something that the school has seemingly disavowed. And now I'm not pointing fingers, but perhaps the chemistry department is to blame. Mr. Brown, if I asked you, would you be filled with shame for this experiment gone wrong you may have made? I digress, but it's all right if better would mean less. But no, why? When did we start sacrificing quality for quantity? I can't take it. My acceptance, I've faked it. This witch's brew, unlike the good kind served at Starbucks, makes my heart want to bid adieu. And don't act like it's not a big deal, like you haven't felt the struggle. Why be a hand sanitizer sympathizer when you can be so much wiser? Could I find the solution? No. Could we find the solution, my friends? The perfect slime to stick ratio, there's only one way to find out. The journey begins now. Together, we can make a vow to make this miracle liquid here. Hope for a product as pristine as Dove Nourishing Hand Sanitizer, 99.99% effective against germs, deep moisture antibacterial gel with 61% alcohol and lasting moisturization may be near. Thank you. Shout out to the boys!
That is the first poem I've ever heard about hand sanitizer, and it freaking rocks. Next year, I think they should start a new category here called Slam Poetry Comedy, and you should MC. All right, judges, let's see. I see a 4.5, a 4.5, 4.5. 5.4. Hey, you're not, wait, 45. 5.4. It balances out. All right. You're not allowed to change that 5.4. All right. Next up, we have Benjamin Bellfield performing Picture This.
I just want to test this real quick. Okay.
Picture this. You get an assignment in which you need to use your childhood memories to complete. Easy enough. Take memories from the past, print them, plan them, put them down on paper. In theory, this is easy.
But let's say your memories moved on long before you did. You can chase them, yes, they'll let you try, but your fingers will only ever brush them by. Sometimes they escape entirely. Suddenly, this isn't so easy. Picture this. Somebody asks you for your favorite memory. It's only a simple question, but it's hard. Every recollection you've got is on a spider's web. The good ones are the flies that get caught, and the bad ones are the spiders that eat them. In theory, you should know the answer, but you do not. Years are unrecorded in the database of your brain. No traces of them remain, and the few that do won't open. They have errors and are corrupted. You do not answer the question. Picture this. You are angry at someone for treating you horribly. You know you're correct on this based on how everyone around agrees consistently. In theory, you know what was awful about it. But you can't remember the things that they did, but you know it hurt badly. Reading through past messages they sent you reminds you it did. Your mind will erase it, but your heart, like a flower, never forgets the feeling of being trampled, nor how consuming poison instead of water through your roots daily damage you greatly. Your memories stand behind you, tempting and taunting, daring you to chase them. But this time, you are too tired to try. You are angry at someone, but your memories never let you in on why. Picture this. You find a bag you packed 5 years ago in case you decided to leave. File recovered, but it's one you wish you didn't believe. In theory, you knew about this bag, but the one you started packing last week begs to differ. Memory sits back and watches you put puzzle pieces together and simply snickers. Memory holds on to the secrets you give it, but it's selfishly greedy and doesn't return them. If memory wasn't so good at playing games of hide and seek and tag, maybe you wouldn't have given up on looking. You do not remember, and memory has never been giving.
So moving, thank you. I love the complexity of being asked, what is such a simple question of what is your favorite memory. Going forward, for the sake of time, I'm going to condense my comments afterward a little bit, but I'll write down notes if anyone wants it afterward. All right, judges, do we have some numbers? All right, I see a 4.5, 4.5, 4, 45. I'm guessing that's a 4.5. We'll let that slide. All right. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Noah Marcenko performing The Life of Pi.
All right. A sad tale is told in The Life of Pi. Well, what am I talking about when I say The Life of Pi? Well, let's clear up that I'm not talking about the movie in the past that made me cry. I'm talking about a different pie. But no, stop thinking of the pie that's eaten for dessert, but think of the poor pie that is now hurt, that when I said pie, you thought of 3.14 third. You see, being neglected is not something unusual for pie. Friends for pie are often very hard to come by, and this is all because pie can be a little irrational. You see, having no friends is Pie's biggest concern, so Pie goes to places where Pie can learn how to meet new people. Now, Pie can accomplish this feat by going to functions where Pie can how to meet some new, pretty cool people. Now, at these functions, Pie's not a super popular guy, so Pie tries to make jokes to try to get by, but Pie isn't even that funny. Pie's go-to joke is, why is 6 afraid of 7? But everyone stops paying attention when it takes Pie 352 digits of progression to finally get to 7, 8, 9. Now, people make Pie feel really bad after these jokes. It's quite difficult to imagine how Pie copes because nobody really likes Pie. Now, it's not just socially where Pie struggles. Pie will also never find love or someone to cuddle because nothing in this world will ever make Pie whole. Even though Pie's life can seem a little depressing, Pie doesn't think it's all that bad because the best thing in Pie's life is his best friend, I. Now, Pie does everything with his best friend I, from solving equations where they strive to factoring out problems in their lives, but something still is not quite right. You see, Pie cannot tell, but his best friend I isn't normal as well because it is in fact his best friend I who is imaginary. Now, that's right, Pie has an imaginary best friend named I, and that explains a lot, but Pie still can't figure out why no one else just doesn't want to be friends. Now, you see, there's an infinite number of things wrong with Pie, so Pie often stands out like a sore thumb to the eye, and quite frankly, we will never understand that there's simply no one quite like Pie. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Noah. All right, judges, can we have some numbers again? Four, 4.5. 4. Higher. All right. I think it's pretty good. All right.
They give my boy Noah higher. It's going to go fun.
Next up, we have, I think, 2 students performing what it feels like to be a woman. Is that true? Yeah. Okay, so we've got Lauren Schuback up here and Emma Stoyanova-Brook.
Yes. Yes.
My first job ended with what he deemed would go unseen, an unwelcomed hand that made me feel unclean.
My first I love you was said through tainted lips that later spread the lies that ripped through the seams of my self-esteem.
My first seemingly romantic interactions were the unsolicited demands of a harmless man who praised me as his manic pixie dream. I was just a little girl.
At 14, I spent a week working with some friends. It was there that I met this guy. We were sent outside, just him and I, when I spied out of the corner of my little eye a great big shadow following too closely behind. It loomed like a wolf ready to swallow its prey. I prayed that it wasn't me, another girl. I watched from what felt like 10 paces ahead. With built-up dread, he grabbed... I'll let you figure that one out. He huffed and he puffed and he knocked down my innocence, and like a slap to the face, I was put in my place, never to fully quite heal.
At 14, I became the target of his friend group's torment. A joke so sick and twisted, so warped and rusted, I did not feel for him as he did for me, and all those rejections only made me look mean. My heart did not break and shatter due to his lack of love, which should have been reason enough. But no, it broke because he'd never shown me, a young girl, anything other than lust.
I want you. I need
He
you.
preached like an unyielding leech, like, hey, Casanova, it's only been a week. So of course he turned sour, his mood wholly devoured. When I drew the line, he showed his true colors when I told him, no, can we please take it slow? I guess that those words bruised his ego. He went down that road to burn down that bridge to insult me some more and then call me a
Baby, you're being crazy.
So much for all that love he had promised to give.
At 14, I met a boy with a crooked smile that made me feel at ease. Kind, wholesome eyes that made me feel like a prize. I'll admit, I fell for his nice guy disguise. So I'm sure you can imagine my surprise when a month into our friendship, he begged me for explicit pictures meant not even for my eyes. It was a desperate plea, and he meant no harm against me. Yet 3 years later, and he still can't bear to look me in the eye. Started with a round of 20 questions that went from 0 to 100 when he asked,
You freaky?
a friendship set ablaze because he saw me as nothing more than an object designed for his own desire.
You guys all look appalled, and we don't know why.
We've said it's an issue, which you can't deny.
Maybe it's because you've never had to talk about the problem at hand.
'Cause what? You're only a man? Yeah, a man in a man's world. What did we expect? Were our expectations too high?
Yeah, I'll remember that for the next guy, the next set of rules by which I choose to abide. My vanity is complete and utter insanity, unless it helps get you off.
With one hand down your pants, the other one begging for more.
Being loved should not feel like a chore.
Depending on how I dress, I'm either a tease or a bore.
Let me repeat,
I was just a little girl.
Faking a phone call just so I can walk down the street.
Scared to take the bus alone, but if I don't, I can't guarantee that I'll get home.
You pick up underage girls in that
pickup truck? Hey, yo, Ma, come over here.
We're 17.
I can wait a couple years.
Thank you.
An absolutely incredible collaborative performance. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's give the judges a little time to decide. Yeah. Do we triple the points in this case? Okay. I like triple too. All right. Oh, look at that. 5, 5, 5, 5. They wanted to give you more. Woo! All right. Next, let's have up Simon Gale performing My Hands.
My skin peels and cracks as I stretch between the strings on my double bass. I don't know what I'd do without my hands. I love my hands, but I hate the skin. It is tissue paper, just waiting to tear apart. Dry as a river in drought, they are pockmarked and scarred, but I continue to use them to their full extent. My hands sting as the chalk seeps into my wounds. Doctors only have one answer for eczema: steroid cream. I used it for months, and it worked, but my nails began to warp and ripple, treating only the symptoms and not the cause. And as the scales tipped toward the side effects, I stopped using the cream and pushed through the pain. I continue to moisturize 1,000,000 times a day, but the little bubbles keep forming, and my skin flakes like the crust of a pie. Yarn catches on dry skin as it slides through my fingers. I'm starting to believe my hands will never be normal. With extra lines and funky nails, my hands are unique, but I cannot love them. Like a weathered tool or broken machine, they serve their purpose. But you notice the times they hold you back. And as I climb and knit and perform and create, I resent my skin for creating unnecessary pain that puts walls between me and my goals. I wince as the water reaches raw skin at the base of my palms. I always have a lingering pain from the lesions and cuts that always seem to form. When one finally starts to heal, another carves this little path, an ever-changing sensitive zone that I'm forced to avoid, slightly shifting how I use my hands so they don't twang with pain and cause a cut to open up like a ravine. The patches of eczema shift over time as they switch from hand to hand and slowly crawl up and down my fingers. I have eczema, but I never let it hold me back. I persevere and ignore the pain, just waiting for the desert of my hands to get its well-deserved rain.
It's incredible how much you can tell through the story of the hand. Thank you, Simon. Judges, do you need a minute? All right. I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4. Higher! I agree, higher.
It's just looking
All right. We've got another Noah Jetty performing It's Just a Game.
A new hope has begun, a new season, a time for excitement with good reason. I expect the best from a team I proudly wear across my chest. You tease me and bring me in close. You give me a taste of what I want most. You hint at success while putting me through mounds of stress. As victory starts to run through my veins after we win a few games, the season is promising, it may appear, but you will find a way to throw away the year. How will you do it this time? What will it be? A mid-season blow-up or too many injuries? No matter how you lose a game, it always feels the same. You like to build me up and give me life, just to stab me with your knife. I think I might just throw a fit. I'm really getting sick of it. You have collapses that I've never seen. You make me want to punch holes in my TV screen. But I continually support you, and I don't know why. Because all it does is make me want to cry. All this feels like a waste of time. This horrendous football should be considered a crime. You call yourself the Raiders, and you're supposed to be big and tough, but for you, being a joke to the sport of football is enough. It seems sometimes you were trying to lose, and that you enjoy hearing all these boos. Haven't you gotten tired of being terrible for the last 19 years? Or would you rather be golfing and drinking beers? Instead of wasting 3 hours of my week, there are more enjoyable activities I could seek. I'd rather be sticking needles in my eyes than burning my retinas watching this group of guys. And watching you play makes me sick, and I'm starting to go crazy like a lunatic. And some may tell me it's just a game, but their losses cause me shame. I'm forever tied to them with my middle name. The word Oakland is there to blame. It forever ties me to this team. With sights of a Super Bowl, I may dream, but why have a dream that is so obscene when a winning season is rarely seen? But every year I keep coming back, just to feel another attack. And although it is not personal, that is how it seems. It's like they do this on purpose, just to crush my dreams. And I always expect something in return, but I guess that's why I'll never learn. I'll give you all my love and support just for you to come up short. It's an endless torture to sustain. I don't know how much longer I can endure your pain. I've learned that I've been born into this family curse of loving the Raiders, and there is nothing worse. An improvement in the near future would be great, but I fear it will be many years I'll have to wait. And unfortunately, no matter how much you make me scream, you will always be my favorite team.
That is awesome. Thank you, Noah. Judges, can we have the scores? All right, 4.5. And as I would say to someone watching the game, well played. All right. Next up, we have Senia Narkovich performing A Stupid Love Poem. Love the title.
Maybe this is stupid teenage love, but it's stupid, blissful honeymoon teenage love that leaves me dreaming of you the moment we decide to say goodnight. And I'm left craving every dripping, tepid drop of your attention, only for you to wake up 5 hours me because you're graduated and you're so cool, and I get to tell everyone how cool your computer science life is, despite it meaning our schedules are as aligned as the stars on an overcast night. My heart warms when you call me baby, which I hated at first, but now I beg you to do. But not warm like blazing, raging fire hot, but a comfortable, calming cup of Earl Grey tea paired with the Radiohead vinyl you bought for me warm. Your hands reaching under my sweater to grab my waist warm, the way too salty farfalle pasta we cooked together warm. I love you, less than 3, so heart. You spend hours asking me about the intricate quirks and details of my life so you can better weave yours into it. You know everything about my culture and religion that I'm supposed to follow and the traditions that my dad somehow put aside because he approved of you. And let me tell you, he does not approve of everyone. He approved of you. Because when you first met my family at that dinner at that Indian restaurant on Broadway, you listened to my dad's stories and you bonded with my brother over the fact that you both use Linux. And my mom, well, she just said you were attractive. You got me from hating the thought of physical touch to being unable to let go of that hug at the end of the day when my phone was already seizing with panting, panicking parents on the other side. You got me from thinking I preferred to be alone to saving and drying every rose petal from the bouquets you give me. You got me from being a perfect child to sneaking out to stay over at your house and fall asleep in your arms to you telling me all about urban design for some reason. I considered myself an independent person before I met you. I know it's just stupid teenage love, but am I really gonna stop you from telling me all about how at the airport, when I'm back from my first semester at Toronto, you'll run and jump into my arms and we'll be the Andromeda and Milky Way galaxies colliding, spiraling in chaos, millions of light years overcome for that moment where the entire cosmos is lit up by the birth of new stars. I love you, less than 3.
I love that closing line. Entire cosmos lit up like the birth of new stars. Beautiful. All right. Judges, I see a 4.5. I see a 4. I see a 5 and a 4.5. All right, we have another collaborative performance. There's 3 this time, not gonna mess it up. We've got Remy, Kester, Elijah, Sam, and Alyssa Mauji performing The Future is Bright.
Okay.
You'll be fine, they said.
It's a phase, they said.
Get over it, they said.
The future is bright,
they said.
Never once did they tell us that the future is like murky water.
That has its twists and turns that morph into knots.
Knots that make me wonder if I'll ever make it through the other side and spiral into even bigger knots that one person cannot handle alone.
Knots in my stomach like the ones on my shoes, making me trip over every action I make.
Interlacing knots that bundle into the racing thought train that courses through my head, the one that establishes itself into my identity, forming the daily facade of my face.
Getting cold feet
when I have to speak.
The future I want, always out of reach, trying not to release.
My ever so violent screech.
The words I always want to say that never come out.
Staring into the mirror, I wonder, when am I enough? What do I wear? How do I fit in? How do I look good?
Meeting new people, I wonder, do they really like me for me? How long will it take for them to become disappointed in me? Disappointed in the person hiding behind a social shell, just trying her best. Will my best ever be good enough?
Taking pills that make me feel numb just so I don't have to do the one thing that'll make the pain go away.
But it's
never enough. Always being told that we are never good enough.
Constantly being told that we need to toughen up.
Constantly being told that we're a pain in the...
Ask more questions.
But not the stupid ones.
Study more.
But spend time with your family.
Be unique.
But don't be different.
But life's easy, right? I mean, you're only 17. How difficult can it really be?
Hearing voices in my head. It'll be a miracle if I don't end up dead.
How do I make it through the year without bringing in tears?
My fears, they climb on me like spiders in the night, like sand in an hourglass, but my hands they will never clasp.
How do I overcome this plight if all I want to do is fight against the battlefield in my mind? It's always full of landmines.
I feel like an outcast in a role I've been miscast. Never really who I am behind these walls of plaster. I need to go faster. My curtains are always drawn, but the show must go on.
I've been forced up on a stage. When do I get to turn the page, acting in instead of acting out?
And acting frantically for 4 minutes behind a podium feels like a sick symptom of opium. Project after project, test after test. Do I ever get time to look after my own mess?
The future
is bright.
Look up,
don't pout.
The cycle of never-ending stress, work and play. Why won't these thoughts just go away? In my brain, the endless pain, the ongoing thought train, the Zoloft coursing through my veins.
The future is full of fight. When the glaring shine of the future is reflected upon a blade.
The brightness of the future crumbles to dust.
The metal rusts to red.
Our youth is dead.
Friends will say sorry for your loss.
At the end of the day, your family will pay.
They never noticed your dismay. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you guys. right. Judges, how are we doing? I see a 4. I see a 4. I see a 4. I see a 4. Woo! All right. Next up, another collaboration between Megan Gumbar and Kaylee Jack, performing Don't Take Life for Granted. Are they here? Should I go to the next poet then? Sorry, Megan Gumbar and Kaylee Jack? That was this morning? Okay. Pardon? All right, so we're gonna save Emma for later because her friend is gonna be here later. But we're gonna go to Jenny Lauda, if that's all right, with Mirror, Mirror. Woo!
Can you guys hear me? Okay, oh my God. Okay. Paper people, broken people, easily ripped up people. We're all hiding behind a mask, and this mask is not easily seeable. Unseen, untouched, but yet still so easy to taint. Shaping itself like a canvas with paint, like a rock and a chisel. You're the rock and you change into something you know that you'll never, ever, ever attain. I'm sorry. I'm really nervous. The chisel was the world, Okay, the chisel was the world, and you can only change so much until you disappear into the sky like a tiny grain of dust. And I hope you can see things another way. Just stay the same. There's no need to change with every gosh darn day. But to you, there's no hope at all. And I know you want to fix it all, but you don't know what to work on first. So you work first on the inescapable thirst to be something that you never were before. Before you were someone that wasn't so easily torn. You were a warrior, you were strong, and now you're covered under a blanket from head to toe, believing that everything about you is wrong. Long, long, winding road ahead, and sometimes you think to yourself, maybe, no, I think I might be better off dead. You shut those thoughts off because you don't want to hear it. Your eyes are tired of crying and your ears are tired of hearing it. The sore, choking feeling inside your throat, exhausted by the degrading things you've said to yourself. Did it make you feel better? I know you just want to be perfect, but can you not tell the condition you're in? I can tell you're not well, but to you, your main goal is to prioritize the needs of the world's eyes. The world was just some shiny lit screens and a tiny white lies. Screams, terrifying, soundless, horrifying, soundless screams, drowning in your own thoughts and not even noticing. The well of self-depression only ever grows. Are you not focusing inside your heart? You feel incomplete. The side, everything. It's so confusing. Your brain must be filled with concrete. The sight's not sweet. Please take a seat. Let me introduce to you a world where no one gives a bleep. Your mirrors don't see everything. First impression, your depression. Your heart and mind is filled with jealousy. You're looking pretty. It's your dopamine. It's your ecstasy. Regrets. Will you ever reach a day where you say, hey, I think I looked a little better than okay? Your beauty's in one of your blind spots, and if I were you, I would embrace it, not change it. Your mirrors are lying to you. I know you'll make a breakthrough like you always do. I want to see your smile. Your laughter's like a song, and your beauty was always there. It was never gone. Your perfection as well. Inside and out, there's a bold line, a connection, and you can't see it all through mirrors' reflection.
Oh my gosh, Jenny, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. All right, judges, let's see the scores for Jenny. I see a 4. I see a 4. I see a 4. I see a 4. Woo! Are we capping it? All right.
Quentin. Okay. We have time for my friends here.
Find it? All right.
Okay, my title is Justice. Hey, can I feel your hair? Hey, you can swim, right? Hey, what sport do you play? You play basketball, right? No, I do not. In fact, to this day, I still can't shoot, but you assume I can because of my pigment, right? You assume that black people got hops because, oh, no. This may seem like a compliment, but it's really a restriction. Or you can't do that thing that's synonymous with your race. Are you even black, bro? No, not right now, apparently. When I'm black enough to be called a nigger by a straight and driver by, I'm black enough to deal with racially motivated microaggressions every single day. I'm black enough to be called a slave by a classmate. But I'm not black when I can't dunk a basketball or run faster than everyone else. But I will not let these expectations determine my destiny. I will not be silenced. I will not be censored. I will not be another statistic, and I will not be that one in every 9. And I may seem angry. I may seem angry. But really, I'm heartbroken. We live in a world when a black man going for a run is shot and killed because he looked threatening. We live in a world when another unarmed black man is killed by a police officer because they thought it was their taser, as if they weren't able to feel the difference. We live in a world where another unarmed black man is killed by a police officer kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Let's think about that for a moment. For 9 minutes and 29 seconds, an unarmed black man laid on the ground defenseless with a knee on his neck. I can't breathe, mama, were the last words uttered by George Floyd. I tremble for this world. All of these events stem from hate. Hate leads to violence. Violence leads to suffering and the death of innocence. We must not let hate win. We must choose love and compassion, not hate and distraction, taking pride of the lives that were taken so ghastly. But I will not stop fighting. I will not give in. I will rise above like Fred Hampton, and I will triumph like Martin Luther King. And by the wisdom of my elders, and by the strength and energy of the youth, justice can and will prevail in this mad, mad, mad world.
Wow, Quentin, that is absolutely incredible. All right. It shows just the incredible force that poetry is. All right, let's. Perfect score. Yeah. All right, so. All right. Oh my God. It was the vocal. If any of you need water, anything, please go get it.
Hey, yo, what's going on?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my God. I didn't faint. That is a big plot. Sound like my little brother.
Shout out to my boy Mufaro. Oh, it's not on. I think the three girls are the right. I think yours will be a real singer. Let me read the first 3 words.
I know, dude. If I go out, I'm gonna be like so cheesy.
Fine, you know, everybody, it'll be a different mood, it'll be
It'll be
different crowd, it'll
different.
be different
Yeah.
style. What do you think it's about?
I already know what it's about.
Oh,
I'm sweating. I've got voice. What is this?
It's very bright.
Yeah. They actually did my fucking stupid title. Yeah, they just
Can I see that after you? I'm so cool. Thank you.
Hey, what's next? Where do we end on?
Where are we?
You're like on the other side. I know, but wait, whose are we on? Oh, that's what we just do. What did we just do? We did them. There's like, oh.
What did we do?
Did we just do Jenny?
No, I think his name was Jenny. No, we just have...
Her name's Chinix. Yeah. Well, okay, well, you're after Catriona. Yeah.
There's another story.
Stay for N.
The title is No Topic. Yup. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't want to go home.
Yeah,
Okay. Take your mask off. I think I might. I think I'm going to too.
I'll just stay.
Alright. Well, my head's starting to hurt. I know, same!
No, but walk with me.
Where are you going?
Oh, no, but we have time.
Okay. I'll say the first girl, she was.
Oh.
Ashley, who? Oh, Ara. Ara, yeah. Ara, Christie. Ashley, Adam, Robbie.
Okay, well, it might be you. Are you ready? You're gonna do great. Okay, do you want to be standing up here when people come in? No. I don't think so. Wait.
That was really good. I still think the first one was better.
Oh, just run with it. That's cool. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so much better.
I can't wait for That's funny. No, there's a little episode of Brock. No, Brock would have been a 1K with 1 O. That's so funny. It even says burned. Wait. Why am I first if there is submitted from my class? Why is my name last and wrong? Also, the times are wrong. What it means to be. Yeah, not what it feels like. It's what it means to be. One. Emma, Megan, Jenny, Catriona. Oh, Jenny did go. Just kidding. They do. What's with all this mirror? Mirror, 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 mirror. It's gonna be the same thing? Yeah. Is this Remy du Poisson?
Ashley and Adam.
It's on there too. It's literally. Why is it okay, well, that's just a K? Hold on. I think it would have been funny if she had said unlike anything. Ooh, she said unlike anything I've ever seen. Who said that? The lady, yeah. Clear how much practice and rehearsal went into this. We wrote it the night before. Well, 2 days before, but still. Unlike anything she's ever seen. We are astounding. We are magnificent. We are women. I am woman. Hear me. Okay, let's move back. Let's move.
Are you actually?
Who just did? When?
Quentin just went. Where's Quentin?
No, I think next one's this person. Because before Quentin, it was her. Like mirror, mirror, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you should have. Did you listen to this, kids?
No, was it good?
It was so good.
What was it?
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
It was funny though.
Who's after?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 6th. You're 5th. And then.
Hey, pull up the second page. Pull up the second page.
That was on the back?
Dude, we were
Wait,
in the
wait,
back.
I was like, what?
That's
oh, you're
what,
gonna go in front of me.
That's what I'm saying.
Well.
And then you did me dirty by going, dude.
Yep.
See, ours the perfect setup. I mess up, and then you're like, golden.
The mic's on right now?
write, but I don't write like spoken word stuff. It kind of, it could read like it, but generally like little sentences. Exactly. I can like put, then you like, it's not, it's less finished. It's more like you're reflecting on the words, but this one is also the inflection that you're reflecting on. So yeah. So you're like in association with the Vancouver Institute? I'm thinking of applying to, I'm thinking of pursuing publishing myself, like for like scholarship book or something. I've been writing for like a while. I've been publishing some magazines and stuff. So well, My Voice Canada. So yeah, it's like this Brooklyn like magazine across Canada. I think it's distributed in print, and then a couple of things like online and stuff. But I'm thinking of like pursuing something like myself or like creating. But they have like this CIBC Poetry Prize thing, and I'm thinking of like going into that like mentorship. I don't want to pursue. I mean, like I'm going to business. It's like very non-poetry. Exactly. Yeah, it is something that I really learned in my life. Yeah.
I want you guys to be lower because nobody is
All right, everyone. Is this still on? Shuri, I don't know if this is on. Shuri, I don't know if this is on. Hello? Is this better? Yeah? All right. I'm going to begin with a message from the administrators here. Good afternoon, Riverside. Congratulations to all the spoken word finalists here today. It's exciting for our students to present in front of their peers. COVID protocols are being followed as we only allow 50% of the room capacity in the audience. Oops. Spoken word poems frequently refer to issues of social justice, politics, race, and community. The words or topics you hear this afternoon may cause you discomfort or wonder. They should promote deeper thinking, questioning, and conversation to seek understanding. However, if you feel like you need to speak to someone, the counselors are available to discuss your concerns. And this is me. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be your MC for this evening. But very soon, I'm going to be your M not C because you'll be seeing all of these amazing people on stage today. That went better with the first round of the audience. How is everyone feeling after their first class after lunch? Good? Excited? Yeah? And how are our poets feeling in their bodies? Good? Excited? Good. All right. I am just going to introduce myself. I am Isabella. I am a poet, I think, and writer and editor in Vancouver's literary scene. I graduated from high school 3 years ago, and I am currently pursuing a degree at Simon Fraser University. It is a privilege and honor for me to be here with everyone today because you guys are inspiring. And this generation, as well as the generation of our elders and future generations, all need your voice. And it is not just me sharing this with you today. Our poets here who were here for the previous block, they have already heard it. But for a bit of good luck, a bit of encouragement, I reached out to some of the greatest writers and poets and mentors across Canada's literary scene. And I asked them if they had any words to pass along for you. And I think this applies not just for our poets here, but all of you in English classes, thinking, growing, learning, and expressing yourselves. From Kirsten Paulson Nguyen, writer of the New York Times and Boston Globe, she writes, "The world needs your voices!" I applaud your courage in using them. From R.C. Weslowski, a poet who has been a pillar in the poetry slam community before many of us were born. He quotes a classic slam axiom from Alan Wolfe: "The points are not the point is the poetry." And this one you guys actually haven't heard, but Komash, another writer and wonderful person in the community, offered the words while you guys were actually performing. He says, "Give it up for the poetry, not the points." And I'm just going to quote, lastly, Dina Dalbukia, who writes, "We all can't wait to read, hear what you have to say." I would also like to humbly acknowledge the traditional territories where we are gathered here today. Today we honor the ancestors, our kindred relations, and Indigenous student leaders who have long nurtured this land before we are today. And they continue to bestow their greatest knowledge and wisdoms onto their unsurrendered land. As an Anishinaabe Indigenous elder shares in the gift of his words, this is the land where we all work and live. This is an Indigenous definition of sovereignty, the land where we all learn, grow, love, feel, and occasionally cry. Everyone here, we carry with us our individual relationship and responsibilities to place. Our stories of movement and migration, of settlement and unsettled realities. Acknowledging the land is an everyday and lifelong process, for the soil on which we stand is a sentient life force that at all times teaches us, mentors us, collects us, and supports us. And so I would like to encourage everyone here to reflect, educate themselves, listen, and learn from the rightful owners of this land for time and millennia, and give back the gift of reciprocity. Let us acknowledge with gratitude this beautiful place where we live, work, and play, that is the Coast Salish Nations. I'm going to stop talking soon and hand over this microphone to our talented poets. But I'm just going to go over the rules of a slam poetry competition. They already know this. There are no props allowed. Instead of clapping while a poet is trying to speak, we snap our fingers. We snap in appreciation of the words and the ideas, and we try not to interrupt the poet. And let's all practice. That sounds good. At the end of the poem, we clap loudly and enthusiastically. We reward the poet, not the scores. With us today, we are very grateful to welcome our four judges, Sue Kilpatrick. Hello, Sue. Rochelle David. Georgina Hudson. Hello. And Mrs. June. Woo! All right. They score the poem between 1 to 5 based on the words, the meaning, and the presentation. If you disagree, you can yell higher, and who knows, you may convince them to change their scores. It's a student-led democracy. And just to iterate Cole Mash's words, give it up for the poetry, not the points. These poets also deserve our utmost respect. There are no phones or talking while they are performing, so please unmute any phones you have, and only go to the washrooms between the poems. And I've also promised to be the sacrificial poet here, so I'm also going to perform a small poem to kick off the second half of our afternoon. I read one earlier today, so I'm going to do another one, as we are all thinking again about just our place and responsibility to the stories of the land where we are gathered. This is a four-part poem, but I'm going to just share the first 2 parts. It's called Spawning Grounds. 1, Sandcastle Bucket. A fable I grew up hearing told of a time when the sea swept ashore all of its fishes. From the bluefin tuna off Scarborough to the mackerel migrating off coast and what's left of the wild sturgeon near Brescia, northern Italy. Where sinkholes had formed, where they were met with obstructions, where the tide had begun to retreat, the fish could not get back. Along one shore, a child came with a sandcastle bucket, grabbed the fish by the handfuls and carried them back, where they were released into the waters. This time, a bystander watched. They asked the child, "Why bother? There are so many of them." To this, the child replied, "At least I'm doing something. Hurry. The next time the sea turns again, there will be no more fish left to pick up." 2, Spawning Grounds. A female salmon by intuition returns to her prenatal stream carrying the weight of up to 3,000 eggs. These she will climb to deposit in the hollows of gravel and sediment above falls, packed between freshwater riverbeds, but to be met along the way by the dam on Muskrat Falls of Labrador, the Kiesig Dam on the Nelson River, 93 square kilometers of hydro across boreal lands, snow fjords liquefied, where a common spawning ground resides for the wildfish being met with a Site C dam through BC, 128 kilometers of rivers flooded, the Peace River a reservoir, an indigenous burial ground, and home to 100 endangered species. In the south, 76 killer whales left on the brink of extinction. We erect hydro dams and rear fish in hatcheries away from their natural habitat, bring wildlife back into nature, nature back into industrialization. This is what we call rewilding. The bare necessities of hatcheries strengthened through genetic engineering, forced interbreeding. But fish that rely on muscle memory year after year are the ones we see failing to return. Most of our poet performers here tonight all have their poems memorized, so they're already better than me. All right. First off, let us give the warmest, hugest round of applause to Jenny Lauda. Jenny already performed. To Catriona Riddle, performing The Way to Community.
Can you hear me? Okay. Long ago, before the Europeans have ever came to Canada, there was a young boy, part of lower class. He lived in a community outside of what is now known as Chilliwack. The young boy didn't believe in any of the traditional ways. He didn't think people should work together and you work as a community. All the elders and the chief knew that that wasn't the right way, and the chief knew he had to teach the boy a lesson. He decided to send him on a journey to Bunsen Lake. If he learned anything or received or gave any help, he would have to use the traditional ways. If he didn't, the community would try his way. And Eagle would be watching overhead to make sure the boy was truthful. The boy agreed and left the next day. Once he was away from the cloud cover, you can see that Raven was casting his shadow over the boy. The boy had no clue. So he continued on his way till he reached Chilliwack River. At Chilliwack River, he saw a family of beavers. They were making their dam for what seemed like the 5th time, at least. He was very confused why they kept trying. So he went up to one of the beavers and asked him that question. The beaver then responded, "As long as we get more creative, we keep trying and work together, we will be successful." The boy then continued on his way. He thought about that for the rest of the day. The next day, late afternoon, he finally reached the lake. At the lake, the first thing that he saw was a stump. Now, this stump reminded him of a story that he had been told many times about all the communities coming together to save their young from an impending disaster. So after seeing that stump and remembering the story, he felt connected to the story. He looked behind him, and he finally saw Raven for the first time. But Raven wasn't casting a shadow over him anymore. He was flying away from him. He spent the night at the lake and left in the morning. The next day, around noon, Bee found him. And Bee decided to stay with him till nightfall, giving him advice on how he could be helping his community, how he can help them grow. The next day, he ran into the beavers again. When he ran into the beavers, they were still making their dam. They were still trying to build it. So he thought about all the lessons that he had learned, from the beavers themselves, from the story that he reconnected with, and the bee. He thought of all those lessons and decided to stay and help. After the dam was finally complete, he continued on his way. But soon after he left, he injured his ankle. He was going to get ready to continue on his journey when Bear appeared. Bear appeared because Eagle went to go find him. And Bear said, "Wait, little boy, Eagle has told me everything that you have done, everything that you have learned, and how you want to help your community. I am more than willing to give you a ride home." The boy agreed and got a ride home from Bear. Eagle, after finding Bear, went to his community to warn the community that he was injured and to prepare to help him. So by the time he reached his community, they were ready to help the boy, thank Bear, and thank Eagle. Later on in life, he then worked his way up to upper class after he had, of course, healed. He then became chief and taught other young people and even some adults the importance of their ways, the way to community.
That is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much, Catriona, and for setting the floor for us. Judges, let's get our first couple of scores up. I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4, and a 4. Woo! All right. Next up, let's welcome Ellie Kwok, performing Mirror, Mirror on the Wall.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of them all? She asks her reflection on the chromatic glass. The reflection looks her up, then down. Clearly, not you, it sneers. She takes a long stare at herself, then she admits, I agree, I need to change. Rummaging through her chaotic room for her unwashed clothes and her black hat, she makes herself anonymous, finalizing her look with a black mask that barely fits her face. Once she enters the cold, empty drugstore, she rushes to the hair aisle. Strangling the boxes of blonde hair dye, she heads out the moment she pays. Yanking her hair and heating them into curls, she applies makeup in the order she had learned. Turning to the mirror, she eagerly asks, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all? Clearly, not you, the mirror repeats. Take a look around and observe the prettiest girls in town. If you want to attract the males, you can't look like a whale. Go change yourself once more, and you will most certainly be adored. Standing in front of the mirror, she said in confusion, "Well, could it mean that my face is flat or that my eyes are too small? It can't possibly mean that I'm large. I haven't eaten any food in weeks." The next day, on her daily walk around the city, all her attention was sucked into her phone. Not being able to walk straight, she ran into someone about her height, getting a whiff of warm, toasty vanilla. Retrieving her attention from the screen, she looks up to apologize and notices that the girl she ran into was a girl with big, beautiful blue eyes, a button nose, and plump, rosy lips. So, is this what the mirror was telling me about? To compare and contrast with the most incomparable girls in town? Walking some more, she thought to herself again, well, her facial traits that I don't have can't be achieved with a brush and brown powder. Suddenly, a thought struck her. She took a sharp turn towards a different route than she would usually go. Then she reached her destination. The place was where people would go to make subtle to drastic changes to their face. Walking up to the surgeon, she demanded without hesitation, "Sculpt my nose into a slope that can make skiers fly high. Stretch my eyes wider than the person screaming in Monk's painting of the Scream. Inject filler into my lips until they look like pufferfish in defense." Reluctantly, the surgeon fulfilled her wish. The girl walked out after paying the amount of money that could buy her an apartment, realizing that everyone's eyes were on her. Am I now the most beautiful girl in town? Am I finally going to be popular? Will this please everyone? Her head was overflowing with questions, unable to pair them with answers. Arriving home, she dashes to the mirror, and once again she asks, but this time with confidence, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all?" A few seconds later, the mirror replies, "Look at your reflection in my mirror, and you will see what you did clear. You will not be able to tell me that you are looking at yourself, but the monster inside you that rose above your skin. People don't see you as the delightful girl, but they view you as the ungrateful girl." The ungrateful girl. You should have known that you don't have to be perfect. So now's the time that you stop trying to perfect it. Thank you.
That is a powerful retelling of a story that we all know, but pulled out of the fairy tale world and into concerns that affect us in the here and now. You did a wonderful job. Judges, can we please have some scores, please? All right, let's see. I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4. Woo! All right. So judges, there's a small shift in the lineup. We are going to welcome Emma Dukes now, and Emma will be performing Dear You.
Dear you, I've always wondered why you hurt people you love. Have you done anything you're proud of? You say sorry like a routine just to clean up the mess that lays here on my chest. You push us away, then ask us to stay. I swear I've changed. Oh, please, you sound deranged. You go and brew up a stew of words that cut through. I'm a mirror, because if you look clearer, at the end of the day, you're the ones the words affect. You look back as you lost your way. Why is this relationship a wreck? Dear you, the sound of your voice is a blaring 5 a.m. alarm no one needs to hear, wrecking everyone's day from the start. Morning people exist, sure, but in your life, there's only 4. Can I ask one question? Why are you such an ass? You treat people like they don't matter. You get called out on it, and you shatter. We try and help, but you refuse. Instead, you drown in the booze. Dear you, blaming everything on your upbringing, you look like a clown. Little Miss Daddy Issues, congratulations, you won a crown? Look, I hate to put you down, but what did you expect? You infect my every step. I've drowned in the things you say. Dear you, when I look inside, I only see pain. I see the person who ruined my life. I see the person who walks around thinking it's all right. It's all right that you did this to me. Well, it's not all right. It will never be all right. Dear you, I know you understand what you're doing. I see the songs you put on the playlists you make for yourself. I know all the things you keep up on your highest shelf. Dear you, of all the pretty girls, why? Why do you fall for the toxic ones? Is that the only love you know? If you think that is love, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you don't have someone conditional. To say all those things before, well, that's unforgivable. I didn't realize you're struggling too. I didn't realize you're bubbling till you blew. You deserve the best too. Don't settle for anything less. Please, dear me, why is it so hard to be better? I know you received this letter.
Woo, Emma. That is an awesome turnaround at the end. That is awesome. Thank you. All right, next up, judges. All right, I see a 4.5. I see a 54. I see a 4.5. I see a 4.5. And another 4.5. Woo! All right. Next up, Nikki, are you ready? We have Nikki Pittman reading What My Grandmother Said That Day. Woo!
My grandma once said, you control your destiny. The faintest decisions could alter you as a person. She died recently. Smoked tobacco and died of a blood clot. Only thing more severe was when my father dropped. He lay on the floor unconscious. Didn't even get to see him alive that day. Now I suffer PTSD, ADHD, because my father always made me remember. The good and the bad, now I'm in a conundrum. Already lost both of my fathers. Try to picture life without you in it. It's like life without breathing in it. Feeling my heartaches, already lost my sister at a young age. She was my only role model. For the father who was my bio, too busy drinking on the Hennessy, smoking dope and pissing on his enemies. Now it got me feeling suicidal. Sister already committed. Sorry, couldn't help you with your sorrows. Mother tried to give us a good life, although we were living in poverty. A 2-bedroom flat with 18 members of my family. See my uncle shooting up, blowing up. Should I have done anything different? Only memories of getting bruises. Walk along the streets with my papa, only to get shot and my mother saying, sayonara. Didn't see my father again. Scar left tatted on my ankle. A scar I'll never forget, for he was brutal. Left my arms blue and like noodles. I know I'm on a child up because of broken protection. The same protection you offered me when I was little. Now I'm supposed to grow up, mature up, but how can I when you told me how to be a screw up? Now how am I supposed to feel alive again? You didn't even try to reprimand. No advice, all you did was help me be born, I guess. My grandma once said, I can't wait for you to graduate, but how can you when you've already been elevated? Now I know my problems are minuscule, too acute, but damn, it still got me hurting. As I drink it, feeling potent. Turn to alcohol to forget my past cries. No sleeping because I was getting too damn high. Turned into a so-called gangster. Just to see too many of my brothers at arms die. Now I'm stuck trying to remember the ODs and the suicides. Too many people on my back holding on to their gravity. Got me feeling so damn heavy, a burden that's nothing to hold but our memories. I would give up my life to wish you didn't have your inner enemies. A rope on the neck, if only you would talk to me. No motivation to walk alone, no motivation to even crawl. Mine feels like it's in the trenches. Mine dying in war and I have no stimulants to suppress it. They say family, what you come back to. But what family's there to congratulate you when your whole family has to look down on you? Got a dog to be happy too, but dogs can't read human stop signs. Careless dog owners open the fence as I chase my dogs just to see the car drive by. I thought it was over, but things are differently when you're holding blood on the cement like a canvas. Shoes stained, shirt stained, smile stained. It's getting too hard for me to handle. Feel like I'm fighting for survival, but I ain't the smartest or the strongest. My mentality's diminished, as if I'm walking on a red carpet, no Hollywood. My idols have been done and left, all alone in my solitude. And when the ice melts, so did my fortitude. For a feeble mind too weak, I'm lost, don't know what to do. Wish you could see what it was like just to be like me. That way you'd understand a little bit of me. I didn't grow up with a father. I didn't never have that now. As I cry, after remembering all the people that have died, my eyes go dry. As I wear my suit and tie, see the casket too many times, I ain't gonna lie. My grandma once said to live life to the fullest. Embrace each day with a purpose. They say Martin Luther the King, but I'm taking his crown for now. I don't have my scars no more. Face my pain head on like a migraine. I don't have to worry if I get to eat today, because if I chose, I could be overweight. So people depend on me, so I enunciate my story about what my grandma said that day.
R.I.P.
So powerful, Nikki. That is so powerful. And a beautiful, devastating remembering of our loved ones in this world and the next. Judges, how are we doing? I think we're all stunned. 5. I see a 5. See a 5. See a 5. A perfect score. Woo! All right. I might butcher your last name. I'm so sorry. All right. Next up, we have Lauren Kasich. All right. Reading Growing Pains.
I want to grow up. They say aging isn't regarded as its number, rather your state of mind. But I feel like I've walked into it half blind. My childhood is still within me, somewhat intertwined. Grow up. They say grow up when you act immature, but why don't they tell you to remain young for sure? We assume that adults have more fun, making us feel as though being older means we've won. Grow up. They say champagne symbolizes happiness, celebration, and starting over, starting over, starting over. Grow up. Relationships are new. Baby, I love you. Well, maybe it's true. No, I'll just end up brash, bewildered, and blue. Throwing around I love yous like it's addictive candy. Grow up. Back when things were easy and gave me the feeling of utter ecstasy, growing up was just another made-up fantasy derived from my false sense of reality. Grow up. Man, to be a child again, not having to compile an essay at 3 a.m., I want to be a child again. Grow up. My future of adulthood being unknown, will my idea of a successful future be blown? Family and friends are no longer set in stone. My only worry 10 years ago was simply not to get a broken bone. Grow up. Those days when I was shorter than my mom, all I knew was calm, and I didn't have to worry about which of the next tests I'll bomb. Grow up. Parents saying you're a pain in the ass, taking tests you barely passed, but all you wanted was to grow up. Grow up. Slowly, the happiness and imagination start to fade, the loath of adulthood starts to be conveyed, and the idea sets in of the pessimistic world we have made. Grow up. Coming to the realization there's a limit of time, the once seemingly simplistic society starts to lose its shine, and I no longer feel that the world is solely mine. Grow up. I would pay $500 just to go back in time, to tell myself that every waking moment is prime, to tell myself that childhood is the most graceful of life's seasons, and not to reluctantly race to grow for countless reasons. Grow up. Starting over, like opening a bottle of champagne, I realized this was all just growing pains.
Woo! Thank you for giving us the gift of these beautiful reminders, Lauren. That's gorgeous. Judges, let's see. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Oh, 54, 4.5. There we go. All right. All right. I heard one of our poets give a shout out to this next poet here. Let us welcome Mufaro Mudzingwa sharing the story.
Now, I don't consider myself a chef by any means, but when it comes to sandwiches, I like to consider myself the sandwich sergeant, or a sandwich specialist if I do say so myself. To me, making sandwiches is more than just making a sandwich. It's an art form. It's the only form of art that I'm good at. And it's the best form too because you get to eat it. Now, I hate to float my own boat, but I do hold the award for making the best sandwiches at Meridian Meats. To be fair though, I am the only one that makes sandwiches there and gets in trouble for it. I have touched the hearts of many of those that have tried one of my masterpieces, except for one, my little brother, which comes to a surprise actually because he is nowhere near a picky eater. I made this shocking discovery one day while I was in the process of making the cutie. One of my best sandwiches to date, and yes, I name my sandwiches. He was peering over my shoulder as I put this work of art together. "That looks nasty," he says. I couldn't believe what I had just heard. One of my sandwiches? Looking nasty? There was no way. I had to prove him wrong, so I gave him half of my treasured creation. I watched him sink his teeth into the cutie, but by his reaction, there was nothing cute about it. "You're joking, right?" I asked him in disbelief. Nobody had ever not liked one of my sandwiches. He shrugged and walked away, leaving his half of the cutie on the plate. Now I had a mission to make a sandwich that would sweep this loudmouth 12-year-old off his feet. I got into the lab, the kitchen, and got to work. I carefully selected the different meats that would go into this work of art. Each sandwich was always different from the last. After that, I chose the cheese, mozzarella, then the specialty of all my sandwiches, some cracked Parmesan aioli, which is a better substitution for mayo. Last but not least was the bun of choice. I had to go with something that fit the occasion, something that would prove to this kid that my sandwiches were not nasty. So I chose ciabatta. Then came time to put this all together, and once I intricately followed each step, I presented this new masterpiece to my brother. He took one bite out of it and spat it straight out. "What's wrong with this one?" I wondered if he was just messing with me. He took out the cheese and wiped the aioli off the bread. There was no way this kid had just wiped sauce off of bread. I was in shock. He pointed at the cheese and the sauce and said, "This is what's wrong with it. Here, let me show you how it's done," he said. First, he took a ciabatta bun, which was a good choice. Then, he took mayo out of the fridge and started slathering it onto his bun. I mean, this kid was eating mayo with a side of sandwich. He rummaged through the meats like it was his last day on earth. I didn't even get a chance to see which ones he chose. And that wasn't even the worst part. He put pickles. No offense to anybody that likes them, but really, pickles? And in the blink of an eye, the sandwich was gone. He inhaled it, and somehow he didn't drown in the pool of mayo. I had no words for what I had just witnessed. The only thing that our sandwiches had in common was the bun. And without realizing it, this mayo lover of a 12-year-old had taught me a humbling lesson. His version of a masterpiece taught me that even though they should, not everyone's going to agree with my idea of a perfect sandwich. And that's just how it is.
Mufaro, I think you've left all of us craving one of your sandwiches. Judges, let's see the scores. I see a 4.5, I see a 5, I see a 4.5, and a 4.5. All right. All right, next up we have Gideon Sell performing Mother Nature. Woo!
Let's go, Gideon.
Mother Nature. Who is Mother Nature? We all know who she is, but why do we never reach out to her? She treats us like her children, but why don't we treat her back like she's a mother? We never care, and instead we're just scrolling off elsewhere. We can do so much more, but we don't approach her just like she's a claymore. So why? What is it that's so difficult about helping? It's not like we're guarding, we just need to be acting, but we're not acting. We constantly discuss for future resolution that has no other solution because this revolution has only resulted in more pollution. We say we're aware of climate change as we drive our cars. We say let's fix the oceans as we throw a plastic wrapper behind our backs. We blame the factories instead. The factories have to change, we say. Their levels of emission are unchanged. Their environment is misarranged, but we are the ones that have to change. And yet her irreplaceableness is not prioritized, despite all she's done for us, because still we choose money. She provides us our home, our food, our water, our birth. She provides us with all the spectacular venues, but yet we only care about our own revenues, which makes our planetary home worse. It's not realistic to us yet, because over here, it seems wonderful, but over there, it's actually disgraceful. Mother Nature is dying, which means our home is dying. The icebergs are crying, ecosystem alarms are blaring while we're constantly buying. And we are so distracted, we don't hear her. She's crying out loud, and if we are lucky, someone will hear her. But will we just turn our heads and walk away? And will we continue to ignore her every day? Since when did she deserve this? She is our principal means of living. Without her, we will all perish, and we know that. But we're too foolish to know how to cherish. But when we do appreciate and know how to cherish, we will be able to reestablish and refurbish. All we have to accomplish is to work as a whole in order to get out of this deep hole that we've been keeping ourselves in for. It all starts with a single step with our feet, and then we won't have to worry because she will provide us with a path to success and reestablishment. But it will only happen when we take a collective step towards the restoration of Mother Nature with a heart of consolation and determination. Now, shall we?
These are more poignant and beautiful reminders. Thank you, Gideon. I love the line, why don't we treat her like we're her children? Judges, I see a 4, I see a 4.5, I see a 4, and I see a 4. Woo! All right, next up, we've got Michaela Warner performing My Oma's Perfume.
Is this an okay volume? Great. My Oma's perfume, flowers, grass fields, trees, forest, hint of vanilla, strong in the air and full of memories. Spray to the neck, spray to the wrist, and off we went. Into the fields, to dig potatoes, pick peas, sort strawberries, or to brush the goats and collect the eggs from the silky chickens, biting off the roosters as we went through the cages, washing and cleaning them and putting them away for next morning breakfast. We would be there all morning. And every once in a while, a faint wind would bring the familiar smell of my grandma's perfume. Off to town we went to fetch the groceries our farm couldn't provide: flour, sugar, milk, if the cow ran away for morning milking. Again, my Oma would reapply her perfume, spray to the neck, spray to the wrist, and off we went, in her big old truck that you had to wind down the windows manually and pump on the gas twice to get it to start. Off we went to make the long trip to town. The truck filled with the smell of her perfume, masking the smell of the gas. Daisies and daffodils, the grass pasture that the cows stood in all day, munching on healthy green grass. The big old forest behind our house we played in. The hint of vanilla from the vanilla she put in her peanut butter cookies whenever we visited, all could be traced in her perfume. Going to town was an exciting event because after we were done getting groceries and throwing hay in the back of the truck for the cows back home, we would go to our favorite ice cream place, where she would always get 2 scoops of chocolate ice cream, saying it reminded her of our Opa, which made literally no sense because he lost his taste after a car accident when they were 16, 4 years before they met. When we went somewhere special, she would spray us with her perfume, making us feel more adult and grown up and connected to her. But not every memory of her perfume was fun. One time, we accidentally let the cows out in the middle of the night and had to go running in our back fields to find them. If we got quiet enough, we could get close enough to grab them and haul them back. But no, the only thing you could hear in those big old forests was my grandma screaming and yelling in German so our neighbors couldn't understand what she's saying. Saying that she was going to cut off a finger for every cow we couldn't find. It was hilarious. Until you saw her, she was like a bull, and I had a white flag asking to be charged at. Her steam coming out of her ears and her nose, her eyes red, her German accent turning into a growl. I was going to be fingerless. Sorry. But it was all masked by her perfume, instantly making her a sweet old lady again.
As we got older, we visited more frequently, and the smell of her perfume was always a joy when we hugged her. And even though she could not play as much or work as much, it was always fun to be nearby. And as it came to her last days, we visited even more frequently, and her perfume was like a puppy, following us wherever we went and always there. The last day that we saw her, she said, "Ich liebe dich," which means "I love you" in German, which was something she had never said to us. Or if she did, it was masked by her harsh accent or insults when we did foolish things. And as she laid to rest, her vibrant and comforting perfume was nowhere in sight. Was I in the right room? Was this my grandma? I mean, it was her face, but where was her smell? It was frightening. The magic was gone. But as we packed up her house, the perfume was alive again. And the perfume was a reminder of just how special my Oma really was.
Thank you, Michaela. Scent is something that is so overly looked in poetry and stories, and you've captured it so wonderfully here. Judges, I see a 4, I see a 4, I see a 4, and I see a 4. Woo! All right. Next up, let's welcome another story. The Worst Day, performed by Carlos Gonzalez Ruiz.
What? Okay. It started out just like any other day would. Woke up, had breakfast, went to school. I thought to myself, just another day of grade 4. Oh boy, was I wrong. I walked into class, I sat down. That's when I noticed it on the whiteboard. In big, bold letters, "Meet me at lunch, Carlos." My friends asked me, "What did you do? Why are you in trouble?" I don't know. That entire morning, I was filled with dread. And then finally, the time came. The bell rang, the teacher stood up, and she said, "All right, everyone, go out and play. But Carlos, can I speak with you? Do you ever wish you could just crawl under your bed into a little ball and say no to all your worries?" Me too. I walked up to her, and the very first thing she said was, "Carlos, you are my most trustworthy student. Did you throw rocks at Adam?" Adam told me that you threw rocks at him the other day while playing a game. So I might have thrown rocks at Adam, but hey, I'm not the bad guy here. She then lectured me on how irresponsible I was and that I'm supposed to be a leader. I tried not to cry, but a couple tears came out. She then dismissed me, so I grabbed my backpack and left. Outside, a couple of friends were waiting for me, and they saw me cry. We went to go sit by a tree, and we sat down. As I reached in my backpack, I pulled out nothing. I had forgotten to pack the lunch my mom made me. Just great. To cheer me up, my friend said, "Here, let's play a game of tag." And as they all rushed to the floor and said, "Not it," I was left standing. I counted to 10. Ready or not, here I come. I saw one of them running in the distance, so I decided to chase after him. However, there was a guy coming towards me. To get out of his way, I swerved to the left. He swerved to his. I swerved to my right. He swerved to his. And that's when time stopped. I knew it was about to happen, and I couldn't stop it. Time resumed. Bang! We collided. And since I was smaller, I fell backwards, hitting my poor little head on a tree stump. I burst out in tears, and he took me to the nurse's office. She gave me a bag of ice, and I rested. Sometime later, my mom came in and picked me up. Getting to go home, probably the best part of the day. When I got home, laid on the couch, and closed my eyes, never wanting to open them again. She came in, she brought in some tacos, and I ate them oh so very slowly that a snail would have finished eating before I did. And that's when my tummy started to hurt. But I puked all over the tacos and the floor. I don't really remember what happened for the rest of the day, but what matters is that I pushed through. So whenever you're having a bad day, you can do it. Believe in yourself. And hey, things haven't gone that bad for me since. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. You've captured quite beautifully the rhythms and synergy of the everyday that people don't often notice. They just live through. So well done. Judges, let's see. We have a 4, we have a 4, we have a 4, and we have a 4. Woo! All right. Next up, a poem. We have Ashley Keynes performing No Topic. Woo!
I do not have a topic. Call me ill-prepared if you'd like, but I really did try. I came up with idea after idea until I seriously thought I might cry. Because after I started writing, I'd get to about 2 lines before I ran out of rhymes. I thought about comfort zones, you know, where dreams go to die because you preferred to hide than go and say hi, so you missed the opportunity of a lifetime. Sounds like it would have been a great topic, but that's about as much as I could write before all possible ideas disappeared into the night. I swore I had good ideas, but it was like when you look at a picture of yourself for too long and you begin to notice everything that's wrong. I liked the ideas to begin with, I really did. And then I began writing, and with each passing minute they got a little less exciting until I simply decided they just weren't worth reciting. I thought about perfection and how it doesn't really exist because it's all based on perception, but it's been done so many times that making it unique was practically out of the question. I thought about primary colors and how in a wheel of 24 others, no combination of them can make those 3 colors the same way no other combination of genes can make another you or another me. But as important as uniqueness is, we've heard about it since we were kids, so I didn't think we'd want to hear about it again. I looked at website after website, video after video, and they got me absolutely nowhere. Talk about something that makes you happy. Maybe not. Something that makes you sad? Think I'll pass. Write a love story. Are you kidding me? Letter to your last crush? Over my dead body. The phrase I'm sorry? Just get out of here. I even thought about letters or postcards, you know, that you get in that ancient vortex called a mailbox, but I have yet to find any appropriate words that rhyme with mailbox other than socks, clocks, gray rocks, and smallpox. Those just didn't quite fit the dialogue. So what I'm essentially trying to say is that even though the clouds are gray, it's all gonna be okay because even after everything gets taken away, there's always something that's going to remain. After the bomb hits and the dust settles, you can take the rocks and you can take the metals and you can turn them into something better. You can take the leftover wood and wire and create the greatest empire the world has ever seen. Even when it seems like you have no more ideas, you can take the bits and pieces of your other unfinished speeches and create something you thought was completely out of your reaches. To stay calm while all around you is crumbling, you must understand that you can always make something out of what seems like nothing. Thank you.
Amazing, Ashley. Thank you. I think as English students here, that is probably one of the most relatable things I've ever heard. All right, judges. Thank you. A 4.5, a 54, a 4.5, a 4.5, and a 4. You're gonna have to lose the 54. All right. All right. We've got 5 more here. Let's just all collectively take a deep breath in and out. All right, well done. Next up, let's welcome Adam Fenton performing The Adventures of Driving a Manual.
Hello? Wait, can you hear me? Okay. So for as long as I've lived, I've been obsessed with learning how to drive, and especially learning how to drive manual. So once I got my learner's permit, I continually begged my dad to take me out for months, and one day he did. So we drove to a very small parking lot. We swapped places, and he started to give me the boring general rundown of how manual works and what I need to learn. And I was so excited, I just said, "Dad, please, can you just let me try once?" And he said, "Sure." So now I'm there balancing the clutch and the gas, and I'm so nervous. I'm trying to let it out slowly. And there I go. I'm off in first gear. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the best, I'm the man. And then he says, "Great job, let's go home." I say, "Go home? We just started. I only got to try once." And then he says, "It's late and you have school tomorrow." And I'm like, my guy. But I was cool because I still got to drive home in the manual car, which was pretty sick. But as I exit the parking lot, I pull up to a red light and I notice something. It's a regular intersection, but it's at an incline. And then I'm not worrying. But until I see there's a car behind me, the alarms in my brain start going off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stall when I go backwards, or I'm gonna roll back. And I'm just like nervous, I'm sweating, I can't believe, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So I'm staring at this light, I'm thinking, don't stall, don't stall, don't stall. So when the light turns green, I try to be confident as I can and put into first gear. As I'm rolling back, I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hit this guy. And I go too quick and I stall. So now I'm sitting there, I twist the key, but the car won't start. So then I twist and I twist and I twist, but the car still won't start. And I twist and I twist, and then on the last time, the car barely starts. So I'm like, okay, I got one more chance, I can do this, and I stall. So then I see the light turn yellow, then red, and this guy who is honking throughout all of this comes up right beside me, peers over, flips me off for missing the light and not going, and then proceeds to start laughing. So I'm sitting at 11 o'clock at a light with my dad right next to me laughing his butt off, and some random stranger I don't even know laughing as well. So I was like, to say I was upset or embarrassed would be an understatement. I just wanted to go home. So when the light turned green, I didn't even worry about the incline. I just drove off. And right before my house, there's a huge hill, and I turn right as I pass some bikers as we start our incline. And about halfway up, I noticed something. The car was slowing down, so intuitively, I press a little bit more on the pedal, but the car doesn't go faster. And then, out of the corner of my eye on the left side, I see these three bikers pass us. I was like, wait, I thought I passed you at the bottom. And then on my right, I see these three walkers. They pass me on the right, and I'm going, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stall out in third gear. The car can't make it up the hill. So I'm bumbling my hands. I don't even know what to do. I'm trying to get the car out of third and try to put it in the second, and I barely stall, and we barely make it up the crest of this hill. I park in my driveway, I turn off the car, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, thanks for ending my first lesson of driving manual. But wait, you're probably thinking, what car can't make it up a hill in third gear? Well, this 30-year-old gem of a car is unrecognizable. It's named the Colt, the Dodge Colt. This car was built for gas mileage and reliability, powered by a 1.5-liter inline four-cylinder, pushing 82 individual horses to the wheels. Now with those numbers, you're probably thinking, is this even a car? It sounds more like a lawnmower. Well, you wouldn't be wrong, because it kind of is. But besides the fact, this lawnmower actually had some mechanical issues as well, like no airbags. So that's very comforting, learning a new skill on the road with no airbags. It had a broken exhaust, so it sounded like a Harley-Davidson on steroids, not the good-sounding type. And it had a broken strut, so the car wasn't even connected to the suspension. So bumps, that was no bueno. We did not like that. And before I forget, the handbrake, it would stay on, but it would not turn off. So hills, that was not a great idea as well. But throughout all of this, throughout the embarrassment, I actually learned something. And it's kind of funny how similar life is to driving stick. I noticed that sometimes you have to roll back and bump into something. And other times you have to stall and lurch forward and pay the consequences. But throughout all these hardships and difficulties, you learn. And you learn how to navigate throughout the journey. Okay, homies.
Amazing. I hope your dad gets to hear you perform this one day. I think he'll be very proud. All right, judges. 5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 5. Woo! All right. Next. All right, we've got 3 more, so 4 minutes each. All right. Next up, we have Robbie Tour performing Fire Jim Benning.
This one goes out to J-Dog Benning. Thank you, Ryan Ross. Please start me in the game tonight. Mike Gills, we liked, then hated you. We laughed, then hated you. We even loved and hated you. After a devastating season in 2011 and 3 of the largest losing streaks in franchise history, we thought it was time for a new GM. May 23rd, 2014, the day you joined my team, the Canucks, we were happy, even excited for a fresh new start. Although you changed absolutely nothing in the offseason except your salary, we were excited. The 2015 season went surprisingly well as well. We made it to the second round of the playoffs, more than the Maple Leafs will ever achieve. We were happy with the result of your first year and started planning for victory within the next few. J-Dog Benning. Skip forward to the 2018 year. The Sedin twins, or as I like to call them, the backpack of the team, recently retired. The next year was your year to shine and shape your team's roster. With the 3rd overall pick for your Vancouver Canucks, we are happy to select number 6, Brock Besser. With the new pick and rebuild with a bunch of young guys, including JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Derek Carr, Quinn Hughes, especially for the female crowd, we had high expectations. Those expectations soon turned into emotion after our winning season was short-lived. With 20 wins and 52 losses, my midget team could do better than that. We demanded a new GM. Your ethics were terrible. Your coaching advice is terrible. Your fan base trembles at your appearance. New start. With the fresh new start of the 2021 season, we were happy. We gave you the benefit of the doubt. With no bias against you, we left the Canucks' fate in your hands. I'm pretty sure all of Canucks fans had given up at this point, thus the forgiveness. Skates tied, ice freshly cleaned, coaches meeting done, the season was ready to begin. Mr. Benning, listen to me. We're 5-16. We're on track to play second. And by second, I mean second last in the entire league. We were happy. No, we were not happy. We had the 5th highest salary cap in the league. We have $112 million to spend on players, and you decide to pay a free agent $12 million a year? I mean, I guess you can blame us for that. Hashtag Tucker time to the rescue. Now, saying all of this, I'm no general manager, but have fun keeping your job after those smart decisions. Fire Jim Benning. Overall, we're last in the season. Overall, your contract ends this year. Overall, Jim, I hope you exit the league quicker than the Canucks playoff runs. But you did have one good idea, possibly quitting. Thank you. And also, on a side note, I sent this to the Aquilinis, and that's why Jim Benning got fired. Thank you.
Woo! All right, judges. Let's see. Scores, 4.5, 4.5. 4. 4.5. And you, well played. All right. Next up, we've got Skye Mohan-Hesney performing Taylor Swift.
All right. This goes to my boy, Aaron, in the back. I was walking down the streets of Untitled Street. I met this stranger selling these ruby slippers. In exchange, he wanted a story. Not just any whammy, late night featuring Jimmy Fallon story where I trip or skip around and find Al Pacino drinking a Frappuccino and cursing at a pimple-faced Starbucks worker. But a story. No, he told me, googly eyes and all, a story that told more lies than truth, and a mystery without its clues. So I was just scrambling like the eggs I had this morning. I got a story to tell, and I don't know how to tell it. But I remembered this one tale, this one secret that nobody knows. I went on a date with my limited edition, 1 out of 100, Curious George banana onesie, looking like a bag of no frills. With guess who? Taylor Swift. check it with the imaginary DJ set, scratching and popping. I tell the stranger, dude, I got one hell of a story. And then he just saw me with his finger like Emperor Palpatine. So I just hippity-hopped away from the Curious George convention. And let's ignore the fact I was 38 and counting in this story. Bald like Lex Luthor and devouring cheeseburgers like Mall Cop. I walked down this restaurant called It's Food, Who Cares? And guess who I see? Taylor Swift. Now, I didn't scream like a little girl because I was very sophisticated and posh. But I began to wonder, looking down on my Curious George onesie, I look hot. So I walk over, and the onesie weighs a tank, pulling all the flaming sweat down, and it looked like I ran a marathon with a ski jacket in Alaska. I was a little jittery butterfly, but oh my God, her hair was a blonde storm blowing out my double chin and type 2 diabetes. And literally, too, she had Goliath as a bodyguard using a hairdryer like it was his shimmer and armor. I go up, I'm like, hey girl, woo, woo. To this very day, I still don't know how to whistle. If I gave a prison sentence for looking this beautiful and fine, I'd give you the death sentence. In my defense, it would have made Shakespeare cry. Then the bodyguard stood up, arching his head to face my wrath. And I ran very swiftly into the night. I hear Miss Swift like, security, security, this bag of no-frills is on the loose. And that's my story, stranger. Stranger goes, sir, this is your application for Wendy's. The story was your resume. You mentioned in your references that you whooped the shark's ass. You even left the shark's number. That's it.
Woo! It's awesome, thank you. Judges, let's see, what do we have? 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Woo! All right. Last one, y'all ready? Let's do a drum roll for Mara Julian, performing Fly Free. Woo!
I remember when every day was long, when the world was a playground, my life like a song. I bounced through the years with barely a care, ignoring the future and what awaited me there. School was exciting and filled with delights. I sang away the daytime and I dreamed away the nights. Mom and Dad assured me that I had nothing to fear, that no matter what, they would always be there. As a child, I worried about me. I had to be happy. I had to be free. As I grew up, my emotions came and went like the seasons. Love, anger, sadness, confusion, desire, fear, longing. I've always wanted to feel a sense of belonging. Now, I realize I don't have to belong. The way I am perceived might just be wrong. Bullies push me down, I get back up. They say I am a mistake, that I shouldn't exist. I am unique. I don't need to belong. I will stand out from the crowd, and I will be strong. So say what you will to and about me. You cannot break me. I won't let you see me cry. I grew up feeling like everyone hated me. I want to be free. I dreamed that I was by the sea. Why does it seem like everyone's against me? You can shove me around, but I refuse to listen. My eyes glisten. I won't let the tears fall, because if I do, I'll feel so small. I am not someone you can push around. I will not be bound, not by your hate. No, I will not debate. I will decide my own fate. I won't be broken down. I can't. If I do, I'll drown. You don't own me. I will fly free.
I love that line. Thank you so much, Mara. That was so beautiful and moving. All right, judges, last one. Let's see. I see a 5. I see a 5. I see a 4.5 and a 5. Woo! All right. All right.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why they didn't do anything right now.
And I was counting on my workplace. I counted down and I went 3, 2, and then I said 1. And then every I didn't calculate which finger, and so I went 3, 2, 1.
No one wants to guess.
Yours was really good. Like, amazing. So good.
I know it's
No, yours was so good, but like in my mind, I was like imagining the pedestrian cross.
Yeah, I was like,
your presentation was like really good. Why would they not give grades? They should have literally like I mean, I guess it's like still.
It shouldn't be. It's like literally 1 and 3. All of it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I love that. No, it's really good.
Oh yeah, I just don't think anyone likes that.
I'm like fine if I hear that.
I know there's a physical bias because they're very forgetful, but like also going to
together and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it doesn't really make sense. Not me. That's why it's such a good discussion. Maybe like didn't know. It was
All right, how is everyone doing? Ready to go home? Ready to go home and celebrate? Woo! All right. Are you guys ready to hear the results? All right. We are going to start with the grade 11s. Coming in second place is Mara Julian. All right. And first place, Nikki Pittman.
just take it. Just take it. There you go.
All right. So with the grade 12s, I don't know, well, him too, there was a little bit of difficulty because everyone did amazing, and so the judges had difficulty deciding who is first. So we have a three-way tie coming here. And because one of them was a collaborative performance, we actually have a six-way tie. So I'm gonna announce all of them. First up, drum roll. Quentin O'Neill. All right. Coming in second, but still first place, drum roll. Amira Siddiqui. And I'm out of gift cards, but for our next winners here, Ms. Thompson will give you your prizes later. We've got, drum roll, Lauren, Brooke, and Emma. Congratulations, everyone. You all should be so proud of yourselves. I'm very proud of you.
Shout out to my boy Hamza, real drizzy on that beat. You know that he's OG since day one.